Welcome back. This is YourTown. I'm Leffel, President of the Monterey County Business Council. We're here every month learning about our community. Today we're all about Marina. So we're very fortunate. We've got Marilyn Lidyoff and Brian McMinn with us, and we still got more to learn about. So you two, I think there's actually a couple things we haven't talked about. One is the older section of Marina and the original, I guess, downtown. Is still the downtown. You have some plans for that, or had plans? And
well, over 10 years ago, there was a draft downtown vitalization specific plan that was created. And at that time, it was under the presumption that redevelopment funding dollars would be utilized to carry out that plan. Well, fast forward, we all know there is no longer redevelopment funding, and so now we are going to scale down that specific plan. So we're going to start having some community meetings and scale it down to a degree where the resources would be able to cover that particular new updated plan. We don't want we don't want something that is unreachable. We want something that is manageable resource-wise. And so that is the reason why the City of Marina, we're starting to relook at that downtown vitalization specific plan again, so that we could actually move forward on it and put forth the resources that we know we can afford to put out there.
So I guess probably about 70 or 80% of your business community is down through that stretch of Reservation and Del Monte. Would that be
correct. That's correct.
And so you've got a lot of people who are well established there, and there are a lot of services along through there. So you certainly never want to turn your back on it, and there's a huge population base around there to support it.
That's correct.
So, I really think it's good. It's time to take a look at it. So anything we can do to help, I would be very willing to put some assets behind that. I think it's important.
Okay, thank you.
And having that plan in place is going to help future redevelopment of the downtown. It helps streamline the processing of that and bring those changes about much more quickly. As part of the plan, we're going to look at the traffic as well on Del Monte and Reservation. Those were constructed as state routes, and you don't really necessarily have the downtown feel. So looking at at the future at some point when the regional transportation network is a little bit more developed, will we be able to bring that downtown feel back? And then also, Marina kind of lacks from. We have good east-west connection. We got Reservation Road and we've got Imogen Parkway, but we're very limited on north-south connection between the existing Marina and the new developments in the form of Fort Ord. Realistically, we only have Highway 1. We've got California Avenue, and then you go all the way out to Reservation, and those are the only ways of getting between the two. So we're looking.
You kind of created these islands.
So part of the plan is looking at there's plans to extend 2nd Avenue up to Del Monte to the east of the highway, so you wouldn't actually have to get on the freeway to get to that downtown area. And so we'll be looking at that connection as part of the downtown specific plan as well.
Let's see, 2nd would come down through and kind of curve around maybe by where that gas station used to be, that whole area.
The closed gas station.
Yeah, because I had a client that owned that property adjacent to the gas station for years. He was trying to do something with it, so
well,
he may finally.
Once the plan's in place as to where that connection's going to be, it should be a real good, attractive site.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense, and it encourages more a flow of your whole community to be combined. As long as people don't try to make it a race course to stay off of Highway 1.
Yeah, true.
So that's always the...
Well, we may need to get some roundabouts.
We'll look at those too, I'm sure.
So, well, I think that's important, and I really, I think it's due, and
yes, long overdue.
What is it? It's all about time and money, right?
That's correct.
So, I was just in Fort Worth and Dallas for the National Airport Conference last week, and they have, and obviously it's a much bigger metropolitan area, but they've done the most fabulous, magnificent job of putting parks over their freeways so that when you're on the surface streets, you don't even realize that there is a major road under you because it's just, you just seamlessly go. They've got parks on top of them, they've got places to walk and congregate, and it's just so appealing. So obviously that's money and time.
Real money.
But it is a way to connect your
Yes.
community and your downtown, and so I just throw that out to you that it's unbelievable what they've done. And I know other cities have done it, but I don't think I've ever seen it done as well as what Dallas has done it. They've got their arts district, and it's just so inviting. And you think, God, this could just be a big old concrete thing of 80-mile-an-hour cars whizzing past, and you have to walk across a narrow passage for a pedestrian walkway, but instead you've got a whole block that you're just walking over and don't know that there's all that going on underneath you. So anyway, let's figure out how to get some money, Brian.
Yeah, well, we need a lot of money.
Let's find out where they got their money.
That's right. So I would guess their population paid for part of it, probably some of their big corporations in
Absolutely.
in just how they were doing it. So that's good. Now, there's been talk before that Marina was going to develop some sports fields or do some things. Has that kind of shifted over to Seaside now, and Marina's abandoned that idea as a way?
We haven't abandoned that. There's actually the parks that are being developed in the dunes in the Sea Haven areas. They're going to incorporate sports fields and opportunities for that.
Good.
And those designs are probably going to be starting within the next year or so.
Well, I think, particularly for families, that's important. That's a real enticement to be in one community as opposed to another. If you don't have to spend half your time hauling your kids away for practice. So.
Yeah, and there are existing fields within the existing parks, and also partnerships with the school district where we can have co-use of some of their field facilities as well. So,
speaking of, and P.K. Diffenbaugh is somebody that I totally admire to the point of worshiping. I think he's a brilliant young man. But prior to him even coming, I think that Marina has always had, if not the best, one of the best after-school programs for a community of anybody. And my hat's been off to Marina forever for the recreational opportunities that you have, both before school and after school, for the children in your community. I think it's really important, and it's really should be a model for what other communities could do to kind of keep their kids with healthy food and to be ready for school. And then I think you've got homework services after school. Your rec center seems to be really
it's Terry Segrist is the person who put that entire model together. In fact, that model was adopted as a national model.
Right.
And Terry is instrumental in doing that.
Well.
So yes, he's been very, very successful.
So it is a positive environment for the children growing up in the community, and you don't see a lot of the problems and the dangerous elements that kind of could affect children and stuff. That's not happening in this community. So.
I think kids are exposed to so much that if you can have another set of adult eyes on them to just kind of hear what they're talking about, see what they're doing, it just gives you another opportunity to touch them and kind of help them get in the right direction. And not have so much free time on their hands.
Mhm.
You know, it's free time, but it's well constructed. And I have friends who actually moved to Marina because they wanted their kids to be in that program after school, because they were working moms and they needed to have their kids in a nice, safe, healthy environment, but also where they could have educational opportunity and sports opportunity. And Marina has provided all of that for really hundreds of families. So it's something to be really proud of, and I think it's something to really tout when you're doing economic development. So,
True.
yeah, it's a real plus. So
When I walk by the teen center and I see the skate park, I mean, kids upon kids are using that skate park. And then, like 3 o'clock in the afternoon when I'm driving to the office, there will be kids in sections of 50 kids at a time. They're being chaperoned by an adult, you know, or someone, you know, and they're walking toward the Rockingham Community Center. Then when you get to the Rockingham Community Center, I mean, like, there's over like 200 kids, and in that gym, they are actually having just a fantastic time. So kids in the gym, kids in that playground, I mean, kids all over the place, and they're very well controlled, and they're supervised, and the best part about it, all the kids are having a great time.
yeah.
You know, so
Now,
it's
you've
amazing
seen, I've
to see that.
actually helped one of my friends who's also a grandparent. I've helped a couple times pick up kids there because she couldn't get there and her kids couldn't get there for their kids. And it's amazing. It's just to see it. And so anyway, my hat's off. Marina really the other communities here should actually be looking, in my opinion, at Marina to see exactly what happened. You know how it is. What do they call an expert in a field? Is somebody that comes from more than 50 miles away and has a briefcase. So you never think it's in the city next door, right? God forbid I should go over to Marina and try to figure out what they're doing. But I really believe that Marina's hit it out of the park with what it's provided for its citizens. So,
well, Terry has done a great job.
yeah, the whole city though.
Right.
It's his program, but
That's true.
the
That's
whole
true.
city had to support it and really believe in it, and so it's a flagship, really, piece that the city has. So anyway, that's a good thing. So let's talk about the airport.
All right.
Marina Airport and the UC Santa Cruz property adjacent.
Okay, so in terms of the Marina Airport, there is approximately 76 acres that Marina owns. Of that, 56 acres has been carved out to be a business park. And so currently the master plan and the airport layout plan is about 98% complete, and that component has been sent to FAA, and you know they're reviewing it at this time. And so you know I'm really not sure when the plans will be complete, but as soon as they are, then we would go out on an RFP, you know, and do further design on that particular portion of the airport. In terms of the UC Santa Cruz, they're planning to sell their property, and I don't know where they are in that phase of the sale and disposition of the land.
So they actually own, let's see, if you come right off of Imogen Parkway and Reservation, theirs starts between there and Blanco.
Yes, it fronts Reservation.
Okay, and so where the roads have been in for like 20 years with nobody driving on them, except maybe me once in a while, and you riding your bike.
You mean the
bike,
shortcut?
yeah.
You mean the shortcut?
Yeah.
I see. Yes.
Yeah.
So they have that, and then they also have property on the other side of Blanco, where there were strawberries growing there. There's that also is UCSC property. So they own both sides right there of that intersection.
We own some property on Blanco as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
But on the airport side or on the opposite side?
On the airport side.
That's what I thought. So, but they own on the opposite
Oh, on the
side.
opposite
Yeah,
side of
they
the
own
street,
some.
of
Yeah.
opposite side of Blanco, yes, that's correct.
Okay, so they control really both those intersections. That one intersection, they control two pieces of it.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's going to be kind of interesting to see what's allowed there with transportation and water challenges.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
And when we develop our sites will be for lease only. We don't plan to sell them. They will be for lease.
So it'll be a long-term land
Yes,
lease, and
yes,
then
a
someone can
long-term.
build. So
99 years or whatever.
okay. So, well, we're it's a good location for the Business Council since we are a countywide organization. It really is easy for us to get in 7 or 8 minutes. We can be at the county building if we need to go and talk about an issue, or if we've got something with Salinas. It's about maybe 25 minutes to Gonzales for us, and we do quite a bit of work in Gonzales. So it's kind of a great spot, and I think Marina really is kind of a gateway to a lot of things without people actually thinking about that. So it's important that we keep Marina healthy. We like that.
Definitely. We will keep it healthy.
It's a healthy
So,
place to be.
did we miss anything? Is there anything you'd like to touch on?
I think, you talk about surprises coming to the job. Not so much a surprise because every community is dealing with it, but the condition of the pavement on the existing streets definitely needs help. So it's not all new development. We do have existing infrastructure that needs help. And Marina, like many communities, has not had the money to reinvest in the maintenance of the streets. And so we're seeing that they're on a scorecard, we're looking at about 60% out of 100 on the average, and that's not good. And streets don't deteriorate in a straight line fashion. As time goes on, you start getting pushed over a cliff.
Yes.
So we're looking at this next year will be our first resurfacing project in probably a decade. Actually getting back to maintenance. We do have some money coming in from Measure X, and the state recently passed Senate Bill 1 to generate funding through vehicle license and gas tax to start reinvesting back in those streets.
That'll make your citizens happy.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
and they want to see what's, all the new developments happening on the south end of town. Well, what about the rest of the city? Really, even with all that coming in, we're falling short of what we need to be putting back into our streets. So community's going to have to kind of gather around that topic and figure out how we're going to generate funding to get our streets into a state of good repair.
Well, I'll tell you what, a year from now, we'll have you back, and we'll be hearing what you're repaving and how you're doing it. How's that?
That sounds great.
So, Marilyn Lidyoff, Brian McMinn, thank you so much. This is Your Town, Monterey County at its best. I'm Marianne Leffel. Join me next month, and we'll hear what else is going on in the community. Thank you, and thank you for learning about Marina.